Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. This is going to be a little bit of a different video than I usually make, but I wanted to start incorporating some of my spiritual practice along with everything tarot related onto this channel this year. So I actually attempted to film a different video. I was going to do a craft with me making a house protection charm. But it's clear looking back that maybe that wasn't the video that I was meant to make for you all right now. Filming the video inspired me to actually talk about this, and this is kind of what to do when it feels like the universe is telling you not to do something. This video really comes with its own evidence, so you can see I'm just not making things up. Here's how it got started. I pulled out my camera shortly after receiving the evil eye beads in the mail. I was so excited and wanted to film a video for all of you about making a house protection charm with them. I started by getting the beads organized. I included some lava stone to filter out any negativity. I added a little piece of tiger's eye for some extra protection oomph. I picked out the string, and I planned on making those beads into a small house charm that could be placed on the doorknob or somewhere else in the house. Everything seemed like it was going well. When I got started on the house protection charm, I began running into a lot of little issues that I really didn't think of at the time. The first hiccup I experienced were the beads not fully fitting on the needle. It seemed like half of the bead holes were a little too small to fit on the needle to get it onto the thread. So I kind of brushed this off and just sorted through the beads, finding the ones that would fit on the needle and using those only. After that, I thought I would be in the clear. That was the only issue I would run into. I've made a lot of different meditation devices using the mala technique that I've linked in the description below. So I'm not new to making this. It's become pretty routine for me. And so I can do this and sort of slip into a meditative state while making them. Except for this time. It seems like everything I tried, the knots just weren't working. They kept getting stuck or not tightening smoothly or not being placed in the correct spot, and I just kept having to restart. And I was getting a little bit frustrated at this point and a little suspicious. So I decided maybe this was a sign, and maybe it was the thread color that was causing me issues. I had been deliberating before between this deep purple thread and the brighter yellow, and thought maybe the thread was the issue, and I'm supposed to actually be using the yellow thread instead. So back to square one I went. I measured out the thread, I cut it, and began rethreading the beads onto the newly decided yellow thread. This would resolve my issues, I assumed. Well, I was wrong. The yellow thread started off okay, but I didn't get very far until I ran into another issue. As I was stringing the beads onto the new thread, I began pulling the evil eye beads down and realized that the knot had formed in the middle of the thread. How had this even happened? I had no clue. Something like this has never happened to me in the past when making malas or charms of this kind. And at first, I just assumed it was a slip knot type knot and tried to pull it out. When that didn't work and I took a closer look, I realized that the knot had been knotted a couple of times, and this wasn't something that I was going to be able to easily untie, which led me to believe that this was not a small accidental knot. This was stop you in your tracks knot. So that was the last straw, and I finally had received the message. I got frustrated, shut the camera off, and then took a few breaths. There was definitely something going on. Why was I being stopped from making a house protection charm? I was thinking before making the video that I really didn't feel like I needed more protection on my home, but I figured a little extra couldn't hurt, could it? One couldn't have too much protection in their home, right? Apparently wrong. So if I couldn't film a home protection charm, what should I be making? When I originally bought the beads, it was to make a personal protection charm. And I decided that maybe that was the path that I was supposed to be taking when filming this video instead. So, with the camera turned back on, I got all of my material sorted again and began making myself a charmed protection bracelet. Lo and behold, everything went perfectly. It went so smoothly and so easily that I even decided to make myself a little charm to go on my necklace as well. I am pretty slow when it comes to seeing and accepting signs. It might have to do with me being stubborn and set in my ways. When I set my mind to something, I want it done. Clearly, it took a couple of different things going wrong to make me realize that although I wanted to make this, it wasn't what I needed to make. And it was not coincidence that the project wasn't working. It was I needed to be working on something else. After I switched my focus, everything started going smoothly and as it should have been. And that's how I knew I was being asked to work on something else. So my lesson there is to take the hint. Sometimes when bumping up against obstacle after obstacle, it's important to take a step back and ask, am I meant to be doing this, or am I being asked to switch directions? Sometimes life just hands you difficulties, and you're meant to persevere. Other times, though, the universe, your spirit guides, whatever you believe in, is showing you that what you're doing at the moment is not what is best for you. And if you brought your attention to something else, it might feel more natural and actually really work out for you. That's it for today, but I hope that this was an interesting and entertaining story and maybe helpful in some way. Have any of you experienced anything like this? I know that I have had my fair share of this and am going to try and work on being more open and receptive to any messages, big or small, that the universe is trying to share with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again soon, probably with a tarot-related video. I've got a couple in mind, so we'll see what I come up with.